Morning YouTube, yes it's me and I'm back again. As you can see, once again we are out in the Bundu. And once again, especially for Ralph, I'm wearing my hat. I must admit, actually, I'm getting to be quite fond of this hat. Anyway, that isn't what I came out to tell you about. What I came out to tell you about is a little homemade penny stove that I've concocted. So, without further ado, thank heaven somebody said he's not going to ramble. I wouldn't count on it. Without further ado, let's get down to the item in question. Now, as you can see, I've reverted, just for this one, to using my 3 tent peg setup. And there's a little penny stove in the middle, and my exceedingly light aluminium windshield round it. And the long-term viewers, if there is such a thing, there's my old Dixie, which I am going to attempt to put on to the flames now, without either spilling it, burning myself, or a combination of the above. Now it is rather precarious, or precarious even. So anyway, that's the windshield closed. So we'll just let that boil. We'll just sit here and get comfy. Now, the reason I made this penny stove was because I've always wanted to make one. I mean, I've seen lots of our friends across the pond make these wonderful, beautifully made penny stoves that work absolutely fantastic and weigh nothing and cost nothing as well, because they're all made from discarded soda cans. But there's always a but, isn't there, when it's with me? But I am a ham-fisted klutz who's incapable of making anything approaching artistic, or even unartistic. Come to that. So, I was flipping through YouTube the other day and I just happened to glance at a video of a penny stove that looked remarkably like that one down there, which I suppose it would, because that's where I got the idea from to make it. Now, I wish I could claim that I came up with this design, but I didn't. Now, I must apologise, for the life of me, I can't remember who the video was by, because I didn't actually watch the video. I just saw the opening, the screenshot of it, I think you'd call it, and I thought, wow, even I could make one of those. Then I carried on browsing. Like a fool, I didn't bookmark it, but there again, I am a fool. So, anyway, so last night I was at a dead end for something to do, as you are sometimes when you're an idiot like me, and I thought, oh, we've got a Dr. Pepper can in the kitchen, and I went in and got it, dug the old scissors out, snipped away, and came up with a very, very rough semblance of the one that I'd seen on the screenshot, and that is the one that is down there merrily cooking away now. I did try it at home this morning to see if it worked, and it worked fine indoors, but as we all know, what works indoors doesn't always work in the field, does it? So, I thought I would bring it up here, seeing as it's a reasonable morning, and just see if we couldn't give it a whirl, get it to work, and then could I make a cup of joe with it. So I've got Swedish folding down there. Oh, and there's my stick leaning against the tree. And so I thought I'd give it a whirl, just see how it goes. So this again is especially for Sinclair. This is the other stove video that I said I would do, and I'm in fact doing it, unbelievably. As normally I take about 3 months to do anything that anybody asks me to do. So anyway, so we'll see how it goes. So let's focus back on the item in question, which is down there. As you can see, it's exceedingly rough and ready is my little billy setup that I'm using now, but it does work remarkably well, unbelievably, for something that I cobbled together. So whilst we're waiting for it to come to fruition, as it were, I'll just show you, pan round and show you where I am. I'm sort of midway on a very steep hill in a forest. Now I appreciate that it doesn't appear to be very steep, which is odd because on every video I've seen of people on a hill, they never look steep, do they? And they always say that they're steep. And I always think, oh yeah, of course they are. And now I'm actually filming one on the hill. It doesn't look steep, so for subconsciously saying that about people, I must apologise. Although I never said it verbally, so does that count? Nah, probably not. Anyway, I probably had my fingers crossed behind my back at the time. So, whilst that is coming to the boil, I'll just get up. Show you a little bit more of where we are. That's up there to the top is basically the path, and the angle of that is about 50 degrees, although granted it doesn't look like it here. This is an old native hardwood forest. There are very, very few conifers in here at all. 4 or 5 if that. They are mainly oaks, beech, sycamore, horse chestnut, silver birch, holly. As you can see, just in this little spot there is quite a lot of holly. Which incidentally, there's one there, look, and another. I am right next to a big clump of them. Now, holly is the one wood I will not cut to make a stick out of, because as folklore maintains, it's exceptionally bad luck to cut holly, except at Christmas to burn as a Yule log. And me being a superstitious sort of a chap, black cats and ladders and all that, I never cut any, which is a shame because I think it'd actually make a jolly good wood for a stick. But I am not prepared to run the risk of the wrath of the gods just for the sake of a neat looking stick. I believe it dates back to Norse times when the golden Norse god Balder was killed by an arrow made of holly, and I believe that the tree was cursed at the time to always suffer bad luck, having the temerity to kill a god. But the story does have an happy ending because Balder was resurrected by Odin, actually. I nearly said by Odin's beard, but no, it wasn't just his beard, it was all of Odin that resurrected him. I suppose knowing drivel like that is a leftover remainder from my school days, you know, because we were taught the classics at school, unbelievably, which, given the school I went to, it's amazing that we were taught anything, let alone the classics. But there you go. Now, if general timing is anything to go by, there's probably another 5 minutes of this to go before it actually comes to the boil, which will probably drive you all mad having to listen to me rambling on and on for another 5 minutes. But I am starting to see a little bit of steam coming out of the top, I believe. As you can see, my homemade billy just has a wire bail for a handle that's made out of an old section of wire coat hanger. Like all the best things, it was free and cheap and easy. Well, it'd have to be, much like me really. So I'm hoping I don't have to wait too much longer before it boils and I get a nice cup of joe. Because that way, then I can take the billy off and actually show you that it has actually boiled. You get steam and bubbles and proof of boiling and all that, which is basically what I'm after really, because otherwise it's not much of a stove test if the stove doesn't actually work. But all indications are that it's all systems go. The penny stove itself that I made out of the Dr. Pepper can weighs in at 0.4 of an ounce, which, if it does prove itself able to boil water and food, I will probably use on an ultra light long distance walk that I'm planning at some point in the future when I am able to. I thought I was developing a stutter then. That'd be even worse, having to listen to me being boring at great length and with a stutter. Still, never mind. So, in readiness or anticipation, my first cup of joe of the morning, for it is quite early, I shall get my gubbins ready. So, as per normal, coffee is in 35mm film canister, which goes in like so. And the sugar is in this little thing, which is basically a tiny little plastic bottle that I found the other day, and it used to have a sherbet dip in it. For those of you old enough to remember sherbet dip. For those gourmets amongst you, I am using brown demerara sugar. Not that that matters, I suppose. And there's the Kinder Surprise with the powdered milk in. So I'll just leave the mug there. Go back to the stove. See how we're doing. And I think that we're there. Because I've just seen a little rivulet of water run down the side. So I will retrieve my hook. Oh yes, there we go. Another one. You can see the steam anyway coming off. So I think we're about ready. So I will use my hook to unhook it. And I shall bring it round over here to the only flat bit of land where it can remain whilst we go back to the stove, which is why we're up here. Well, it's why I'm here. And now you can see the stove much better, and as you can see, I've calculated the mess perfectly because there isn't a drop left in there, and you can see how it's formed basically, because that's the outer bottom of the can, and then inside it's just a flat piece of the aluminium that I've sort of made into a corrugated effect and stuck on the inside basically, just loose. But it worked really well, and I'm quite chuffed at that, given that I see all these great neat stoves that people have made, and I know that I have no chance of making one because I've got the manual dexterity of a squid in a spin dryer. So anyway, that's basically it. So I hope you liked this video. As always, it is made by Fred Carno's Circus Productions in association with Casey's Court Promotions of the Muse Cottage, Oildrum Lane, Shepherd's Bush, London. And it was, once again, filmed in 3D widescreen Carnoscope. So you know where the comments go, as per usual. Or do you really need me to tell you? Okay, I'll let you off, I won't tell you. So anyway, hope you liked it. Especially you, Sinclair, because it is mainly made for you. Because you'll probably be the only person who watches it, apart from me anyway. Maybe Ralph and Steve. Hope they don't think it's too rubbish. Hi guys. So anyway, hope you liked it. Thanks for watching, and bye.